sector of research is blockchain technologies. She has been an excellent sports person who has undergone physical fitness training in karate. She qualified her GATE, held in 2018, and even got job in Cognizant during the time of BTech. She has contributed largely to cultural and co-curricular activities during her college days as well. And with that, I would also like to say that she secured first position in JIS Shamman and has secured third position with her band in T2 Spotlight. Not only academically, but she has been excelling in all the sectors of her life. We have with us Magnolia Roy, alumni of EC 2018. She completed her schooling from Kendriya Vidyalaya and pursued a BTech in our college. Then she completed her MTech from Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology in-house from 2018 to 2020 in microelectronics and VLSI, and finally landed to her dream and started pursuing PhD in IIT Kharagpur in the field MEMS and microsystem. She had been an excellent academic person all throughout. We all we will know more about them and their genre with future discussion. Before starting off, I would show enormous gratitude on behalf of everyone to Shushmita Mondal and Magnolia Roy for sparing time from your busy schedule and joining us today to enlighten the future of aspiring students. And it is really encouraging that we have, and we are overwhelmed that we got you all over here today. Though you are my seniors, but we have never met before. This is the first time we are meeting, and it's really, really great. And it's an opportunity that we have got to meet such inspirations like you. So, Shushmita Di, would you like to share something with us? Like, how do you feel being over here right now?
Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Uh, Let me put my bubble first. Yeah, okay. Hello. Hi. Thank you, Devashmita, for introducing me. Hi. Uh, Good evening, everyone. So, first of all, I'd really like to thank EC Department of SUTEC and JIS Group for giving me this opportunity. And I'd like to thank Manali ma'am and Manjuri ma'am for selecting me as a speaker in this webinar. I would rather call it an interactive session because, like, I am a student like you, so it is comfortable for me to call it a interactive session rather than a webinar because this is the first time as a speaker in this so-called webinar or interactive session what I would like to say. So I'm very much excited and I'm looking forward to talk to you guys as you already mentioned that we haven't met personally so as other students here. So it is very joyful for me to interact with you guys through this platform. Um, I would like to add that make this think of this webinar or interactive session as like interaction between seniors and juniors, and I'll if you guys have some questions I'll really like to answer them and I'll try my best to answer them. So you can always contact me through my email address as it is given to you. So I would like to add upon my college that ShootTech always has helped me a lot where to be where I'm right now because it was a place where I had my basic education in engineering. So the faculty members there, especially of ECE department, always encouraged me not only in academics but also participating in various activities beyond the curriculum. As you mentioned, that I have participated in GIS and Saman and also in Telegraph Band War. They actually enlightened me with probable career direction and helped me to find my own interest, my own subjects where in which I pursued higher studies. So um, in this stage, we are all very confused. So the faculty members helped me a lot to find direction. And I would like to especially thank Manali ma'am because she has been not only my guide since my BTech project, but she helped me throughout the whole, I would say, the journey, the life I'm right now in. So thank you. Over to you, Devoshmita.
Thank you so much, Sushmita Di. Now I would request Magnolia Di to say something regarding how do you feel being over here right now.
Uh, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Devoshmita. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining this session today. And and I'm very much grateful and blessed to receive this. I think this opportunity from our own college. Okay, I think this is a great honor to receive something from your own college, and I agree with Shushmita Di, and of course she is my senior, so I have to call her Di only. So I totally agree with Shushmita Di, and I'm very much thankful to Manali ma'am also. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Di, and that was really nice of you. Now, I would request our HOD ma'am to present a little token of appreciation on the behalf of ECE department. Ma'am?
Yes. Uh,
Um, yeah, I
First of
will.
all, I'd like to say something that it is very, I'm very happy that I have such students who are going for the higher studies because maximum students they are grabbing the challenges of the IT companies and or the core companies. So it is very helpful for all the juniors also. They will be motivated whenever they will see yes. We have the seniors who are doing the MTech, then PhD, so higher studies, so they will be motivated a lot. And another thing, I am just waiting for that day when I can call Dr. Magnolia and Dr.
Thank
Sushmita.
you.
So for that day, I am just waiting, and it will be a, it will be an excellent day for me. And nothing I want, you just do your work. And whenever I have just seen your face in this program, I was just remembering those days. That means Magnalie and Shushmita in second year or third year. Those days I can remember how you were, and now you are talking so maturely. So it's a very good thing for me. Yes, my students, our students, they are in such a position that I can give them uh, very thank you for this coming in this session and
Thank
to
you.
motivate the juniors and all of the students. Yes, Devoshmita, I think we have some token for them.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Thank
I
you.
would like to share the screen. So, ma'am, I would like you to present it to them.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Shushmita, and this is
Thank you,
a
ma'am.
because we cannot go physically, or I cannot call you physically to come to the college, but this is the platform, your platform, because this is your college. Always should take it will be your college, and this is a very small uh, token for you, Shushmita.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and Devoshmita.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, over to you, Devashmita. And I think so many questions are there and
Yes,
uh,
ma'am.
motivational talks they require the juniors. Please motivate them.
Sure, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
I think Shushmita, because don't think that you have to give some speech. Just one adda, like one adda. They will ask some questions, and I can remember Shushmita, and I have seen the same Shushmita. Uh, I don't know where you have given up your that instruments or not.
No,
Because
ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. It's still with me here.
still with you. Very good, very good, and very good news. I think that you should keep it. It's
Sure,
an
ma'am.
energy. Okay. Thank you, and please continue, Devashmita, this program.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Uh, so firstly, I would like to say that as there are so many people present over here, and they may have questions in any language. Like there is no language barrier, and anybody can ask in any language and can talk in any language. Everything is like completely normal, and it's a completely interactive session, and I want to make it simple for everybody, so there will be no language barrier, and whoever wants to ask in any of the languages can ask, and anybody in the session who is having a question, I would request them to write it in the chat box, and I will take up the questions from there. And we also have set a few questions for Shushmita Di and for Magnolia Di, so I would like to uh, like have the question answer session. Like I would like to get the answers of the questions. So is that okay with you? May I start the questions? I mean,
Sure.
like
Sure. Go on.
okay. So first, I would like to ask Shushmita Di about like the first question that comes to our mind when we heard that you are from the like you are doing everything on the blockchain. So what is blockchain, and how would you like to explain it to any layman? Okay.
Okay, as you know, it is a very vast area. But what I can give is a brief on that. I can introduce you guys to the technology basically. Can I present my screen for that?
Yeah, absolutely, you can.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Let me share it to the. Wait, I'm facing some technical glitch. Wait, please. Is it visible right now?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. To like, if I brief, so blockchain, technically speaking, blockchain is a decentralized information sharing platform, and multiple authorities come to a consensus to make a decision and for doing some computational work. So the word decentralized meaning that there is no centralized authority. As we know, all over the internet, some of the technologies are centralized. Like we are searching something on Google, so Google is owned by someone. So decentralized means this is not owned by anybody. This is a platform where everyone has the same kind of authority. Information sharing platform is a like this is straightforward. Multiple authorities come to consensus means there is a part where every information or every event can be verified. So this is very much secure in case of that. And taking up a decision to make a computational activity, that is the work done by that particular platform. Now, the advantages here is like it is immutable. You can't change what you have read or what you have written or read from that particular chain of blocks. As the name suggested, that this is blockchain. This is transparent. You can see that, but you can't modify it. This is very much secure. This is distributed, meaning the things, the data which you guys are all sharing, or you will be sharing in this uh, distributed ledger, that would be present in everyone's local computer, but you can't hack it, you can't modify it, you can't change it. It is customized and innovative. This part actually attracts me a lot because you can build your own blockchain, you can do work on that, you can explore that. I would like to give a brief example of that. Security means what? Let me brief on that by an hands-on example. This is like a algorithm which is used in blockchain, where if you want to change anything, that will show a significant change, and you can see, or you can know that something has been changed. So you can prevent that. So let me write something. Is my screen visible? Hello.
Yes, your screen is visible, Dee.
Where I'm making the changes, is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. See, I have written my name, so it is giving me a hash. If I'm trying to change anything here, observe the
Dee,
changes. Okay,
I guess it's not visible, I
okay,
guess.
okay. Wait. See, uh, you guys can see, right?
Yes, I can see, we can see now.
Yeah. Okay. So see, I have written my name. So it is giving me a hash. If I'm trying to change anywhere, see the significant change. The whole hash has been changed. Yeah. Is it visible that hash has been changed?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this gives immense security to the particular blockchain. So this is the technology. As you know, this technology comes into picture when you guys have surely heard about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the application of blockchain, and uh, blockchain is a background technology for it. So if I give some real world examples, this is one real world example for music, where blockchain is used. Let me go to that segment. So this is like YouTube, but this is decentralized YouTube. So if you guys try to search something, try to upload something or something like that, all the histories would be recorded here, and each and every event would be like time stamped and would be there for every time you use it. So it is like collection of the history, and the history will remain there. No one can change it. No one can tamper with it. This is something like that. Next, I will go to IPFS. This is interplanetary file sharing system. So in here, you can share files. Um, I would like to, yeah. These are the segments where you can see that how it works. I am keeping it brief, so I'm just showing you guys some of the things which interest me a lot about blockchain. You guys can go and explore it by yourself. This is Coda. Coda is like asset management with blockchain technology. These are very much established companies. You can go and look at it over the internet. Sawtooth is like supply chain management with the help of blockchain technology. These are very cutting edge technologies, and you guys can really see some of these. This is Ripple. This is like interchangeable coin system. So in brief, I love blockchain a lot, and I would like to I'm trying to like explore its architecture. So thank you, that is from my side.
Uh, okay. Now I would like to ask Magnolia Di that you have been researching on the MEMS and VLSI microelectronics and all that. So we would like, can you just explain it to us, like how it would it be for a layman who has no knowledge
Yeah,
about it?
sure. Sure, sure. I'm sharing my screen, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay. Uh, actually, not only microelectronics and VLSI, but both the subjects are my field of research, as both uses microfabrication technology. Okay, but there is a characteristic change between that microelectronics, between both of them, microelectronics and MEMS, that do not share with MEMS, and that change is the electronic circuits. Like you have to divide both of them. Okay, microelectronics work with circuits and MEMS fabricates devices. So because the circuits, like if I talk about microelectronics, so the circuits are inherently solid and compact structures. Whereas if I talk about MEMS, they have holes, cavities, channels, etc. They actually imitate the mechanical parts of the devices. So if microelectronics is the brain, in short, brain of the system, then MEMS is the arms and eyes of the system to sense and control. Okay. So, but to be more specific, I am working on MEMS technology, which is a technology that can be defined as the miniaturized mechanical and electromechanical devices and structures that are made using the techniques of microfabrication like lithography, photolithographies, and many other microfabrication techniques. And the critical physical dimensions of these devices can vary from 1 microns to several millimeters. Um, in MEMS, in microelectro and mechanical systems, the functional elements are the microstructures, microsensors, microelectronics. It is a mixture of microelectronics and sensors, actuators, and structures. So, the most notable and interesting elements are the microsensors and the actuators, and these are categorized as transducers. In case of microsensors, the devices typically converts a measured mechanical signal into an electrical signal. Now, what it does actually, it senses the movements, vibrations, pressure, light. Okay, then it have that capability to think about what to collect, what information to collect, what data it should analyze. Okay, and next it can communicate. It can send information, provide outputs, transmit data. It can also provide warnings as well. And then what it is, it is communicating. It depends on acting. It responds to the changes, move the devices and transport particles, and then we get the output. There are different types of MEMS devices you can see here. The pressure sensors, accelerometers, fluidic devices. These are the fluidic devices I am working on. Okay, these are the microneedle chips. Okay, I will tell you later. And these are the different types of MEMS devices, miniaturized devices. And these are the applications of MEMS. You can use MEMS devices. You can fabricate devices for aerospace engineering, automotive engineering, biomedical devices you can fabricate. You can use it for chemical devices, microfluidic devices. Okay, so these are the small basics of MEMS technology you can think of. So I should stop sharing. So these are the basic things of MEMS technology, and if I go more deeper, then you will not get you won't get any, you won't understand actually. So I don't want to go into depth. Okay.
Okay, Dee, thank you. And now we can see that we have some questions in the chat box. If somebody technicals, are you present over here? You may like switch on the mic and say technicals. Suresh Kumar, anybody is present?
Yes, I'm here.
So you can just ask the question you have to our speakers today.
Okay, first of all, I would like to share my gratitudes and thanks to the speakers Sushmita and the Mongolia. I think
Excuse me,
uh,
it's not Mongolia, it's Magnolia.
Magnolia. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
So first of all, I would like to congratulate to both of you for conducting such a great session, because I think your experience can actually enhance or can encourage the other students that are I think they are completing, or they are maybe they have completed their BTech education. So my particular questions is related to the students, on the behalf of the students, those who has done the BTech program. So what do you think? I mean, if someone intends, he or she intends to pursue the higher studies while bearing the BTech background education. So what do you think? I mean, what is your experience, or as per your experience, how would you like to shade over this thing that if somebody wants to pursue the higher education like PhD path, so PhD is itself a research path rather than a technical path. But if we talk about the BTech, so BTech is more and less practical path rather than a research path. So in the education of BTech, the students are technically sound rather than non-technically sound people. So like for example, they put less pressure on the mathematical paths, computational paths. I mean, I'm talking about the subjects. So they are more and less, they have the less pressure on these subjects, theoretical subjects, rather than the, I mean, what I mean. I mean, they are not under pressure of the theoretical paths, something like that they are not going to pursue the research in the BTech and the MTech. So what do you think? I mean, how, or what kind of pressure they have to deal with these kinds of things when they are going to pursue the higher studies like PhD or masters after the BTech? What do you think? I mean, what your experience says about this? Thank you.
Magnolia, can I add some
Yeah,
points to
yeah,
this?
sure.
Okay, Suresh. I found 2-3 points from your questions that you are confused with the technical background and the theoretical background. The next, what I found that you are asking about the pressure. So the pressure is like ongoing, however you handle it. This is not like that the pressure is going to end in your first semester of MTech or second semester of MTech. This is an ongoing pressure. This is something we all deal with. If you go in a job or if you go in higher studies, wherever you go, you'll feel that pressure. This pressure is like, this pressure keeps us going. It keeps us going on and on and on.
Yeah, this is the pressure we have to deal with every day.
And coming to your technical and theoretical part, research is not something which is very much theoretical. I'm in blockchain, so I need to know programming. I need to know the computational background of cryptography and network technology. I need to know wireless communication. These are the subjects I have to know. These subjects help me to build something. This is not like that there is only a theoretical part and only a practical part. This is something you have to merge by yourself. You have to deal with that thing where your research lies. And basically, it's a confined area. Hourglass, right? It is something like that. It is a merge of your theoretical knowledge and your practical skills. Especially, I am from I have done my MTech after BTech, and then I have came to PhD. So this is something like that. Magnolia, would you like to add something on that? Because I think you have gone through the same path.
Yes, sure. I agree with you, Sushmita Di. It is the pressure we are dealing every day, every second. I would say, like, it's not like we are dealing with pressure that much, because if your mindset is like you want to do higher studies and not job, you don't want to opt job. You are setting your mind that after BTech I have to do MTech. I will do it. Then your pressure decreases. Okay. Then after you have completed your MTech, you are thinking what to do next. So after that, you are thinking whether to go for job or PhD. Some of them go for job. Yeah. Is it true, Shushmita Di?
Uh, like
Some of
Yeah,
them go for job. Some
yeah,
of them
sure,
go
sure,
for job.
sure. Yeah.
Some of them who really wants to study, they go for PhDs. So I think it's not you should not call it as a pressure. It's your own interest. You have to grow. You have to grow your interest on yourself. Okay. So this is all I can say.
Yeah, coming to my personal experience, I have like joined Air India for a few months. So I like that. I like that thing that I have joined somewhere and working. And after that, I got the chance to study more. I always felt a hunger for knowledge. Like I always wanted to know some more. So I opted for MTech. This is your own interest you have to deal with.
Yes, absolutely. You have to build your own interest. No one can build it for you.
Yeah.
I find that Rahul Kumar is actually putting up the hand. Is there any question on your behalf that you want to ask them?
Yeah, Devoshmita, this side Rahul Kumar. So,
Yeah.
the question is for both of you that during BTech, last year BTech, and means there is a lot of pressure from your friends that many of them are pursuing job, and from family they also tell us that you must pursue job instead of means you must take job instead of um, MTech and BTech. I mean MTech and PhD. So means could you please describe your experience? Means how did you think that how did you make your mind that uh, you should pursue MTech when 65 or means for example there are 50 students and from those students you are the only one who is thinking that you should pursue MTech and others are pursuing for job means that's really a kind of frustrated feeling. Then how did you two manage to get into MTech? Means you understand now that induced mechanism means you two have been separated from all those 49 batches.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magnolia, go on. I'll add something.
See, when I was doing my BTech, in my class, most of the students they got their job from campusing only. Okay, so I was the one that no, I have to do my higher studies. I will do my higher studies. Yes, there is a pressure from your house, from your own the parents give you, but it's up to you. I told you na that your mindset matters the most. What you want to do, not what everyone is saying you. If you want to pursue your higher studies, go with it. If you are confident within yourself, go with it. Okay, after MTech, if you want to pursue PhD, go ahead. No one can stop you if you are confident on it. Okay, now this is all I can say because no one, it's up to you that whether you want to do your job or you want to pursue. Everyone will say, देखो कोई भी कुछ भी कहेगा, कोई भी कुछ भी कहेगा यार, पापा बोल रहे कि जॉब कर लो, मम्मी बोल रही है कि नहीं जॉब कर लो, दीदी बोल रही है कि नहीं एमटेक कर लो. What you want, you should do that. Isn't it?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand.
sure, absolutely.
So could you please describe? I mean, you two, could you please describe your experience that after BTech did you have to drop for 1 year or
No.
means did you two drop for 1 year after BTech or MTech?
No. I'm continuously studying
I
after
think
BTech. I'm doing I have done my BTech. Then I have passed out in 2018. In 2018 only I have joined for MTech. Then I have passed 2020 MTech batch. I'm a 2020 MTech batch.
Oh, so you are a 1 year senior for me.
Yeah.
I am 2019 pass out.
No, I'm 2020 pass out for MTech. In MTech, I passed in 2020 MTech. I'm talking about that.
No. You are
BTech,
2018 pass out BTech. Yeah.
You are 2019 BTech pass out.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So no, I didn't have given any gap. I don't have any gap between any of these.
So could you please describe your experience? Means in MTech, when you go to MTech, you also get many opportunities that this kind of core companies you are going to have, but you still don't take that core company, that
Yeah,
big
yeah.
companies.
I don't want to do actually. I don't want to do any job right now. I want to first complete my studies. After that, I will get a job. Because after pursuing your higher studies, no one is sitting unemployed. I think. Sushmita di, what do you say?
Okay, my experience a little like different from yours. I have dropped 1 year in between. So 2017 to 18, I have dropped 1 year for my GATE preparation, and I have qualified GATE in 2018. This is like all India basis exam, as you know, Rahul. I think. So in between these times, most of my friends got placed. Uh, what I can say that if you are trying to opt for a job, uh, don't lose your patience. Basically, I have gone through many campusing, and once I was there, I actually got 3 jobs in a row. I got a job in Cognizant from this campusing, college campusing only. I got a job from Teleperformance, and I got a job in Air India. I have joined Air India for the experience that how the working environment would be. Then I got the chance in GATE. So I don't think that there are very few people who are like who have this opportunity to qualify GATE. I think so. As you know, GATE give you scholarships. I think not now, but in my year it was the last time GATE gave scholarship of 12,400 rupees for a month, for each and every month. So it's like I was studying, and I was studying on my own account, right? So no one has some like authority over me to tell me that go on, take a job, or go on, don't study, or do anything. It was like it was my own interest and my own like um it was my own interest. I would rather say that I have taken up the opportunity that I have qualified GATE and I pursued higher studies, and I like that. I never regret that decision. Believe me, I will not, I will never regret that decision of mine. Yeah, go on if you have.
So Sushmita, there is just one question for you.
Sure, sure,
Since
sure.
you are learning blockchain, why didn't you go to IT sector? Because in IT sector there are many departments who are working on blockchain.
Okay, see.
Means on hand means working on hand will have a good experience than studying in university or doing research in university.
Okay, let me answer you. So, doing or extending a work a person is doing and knowing an entire technology by yourself and making that, what would what would be more precious for you?
Please pardon the question.
Okay, doing a particular job or a particular project taken upon your project manager, and trying to like bang your head on that project, and uh, gaining knowledge about a technology, finding its architecture, knowing the architecture, and making your own technology or making your own application from that. What would be more prestigious to you?
Yeah. Means second one is more good. Means yeah, it take a lot of time. I know, but second one is more good and exciting, I think.
It is exciting. It is more or less your experience more about the blockchain or the technology, rather than going to a company and just who the companies are going to pound upon you with a lot of work, and you need to mug up everything. But when you are taking a higher studies on a particular subject, you are getting entire time to learn that. There is a huge difference between IT sectors and pursuing a research or doing a PhD. Yeah, so for me, PhD is one and optimal solution for that. I want to learn, I want to know, I want to gather knowledge. So PhD is the thing. In IT sector, it's like you have to do your job, earn money, and repeat that. But I don't know. I think Magnolia will understand that, and it's like in PhD you are experiencing something new every day. You are gaining something every day, and this experience soothes your mind a lot. We have pressure, but this knowledge gaining suits us most. I think Magnolia will agree with me on that.
So Susmita, there is one last question. Means
Sure.
how many years have you been in your PhD program?
I have joined PhD in like January this year,
This
2021.
year.
Yeah,
Okay.
PhD are of like two sessions, like winter session and a summer session. So I have joined in winter session.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So there are some questions in the chat box actually by technicals. It's like, can you make their own cryptocurrency exchange despite of government regulations? Yes, you can, but you have to approve somewhere from government to try to regulate that in the market. Let me show you that there are huge number of cryptocurrencies, so you can build your own cryptocurrency without any problem. Just you need to know how to build it. If my screen is visible, uh, is my screen visible?
Not yet. Yeah, now it is
Ah,
visible.
okay. See the large number of cryptocurrencies. So it is very, very much popular. To There are huge number of cryptocurrencies. Like you can go on making your own cryptocurrency, but it's like somewhere you need to, if you need to authorize your cryptocurrency, you need to go through government. The
Uh,
next, yeah.
Next is Anushka Maiti, I guess. Can I do job and higher study at the same time? Yes, you can do. You can do your job and higher study at the same time by opting for part-time PhDs if you want to pursue PhD. But you cannot do MTech at the same time. Either you have to do job or you have to go for MTech, masters. It is only applicable for PhD scholars. You can opt for part-time PhDs.
okay, now we find that Shorajit Bhar has raised his hand. So, would you like to have your question?
Yes, I want to ask something mainly to Sushmita Di. That is, you have pursued your MTech on a subject related to electronics, and then you are pursuing your PhD to something related to computer science. Means, why did you think of making this switch from a subject of electronics to computer science?
Actually, you haven't heard me quite enough. That it's your own interest. Okay, let me uh, make it a little interactive. So, in my MTech, I opted for electronics and communication. No specialization on that. Okay, I've done my electronics and masters in electronics and communication. I we all know about wireless communication. It is introduced to us. In MTech, I have opted for that also. On going towards my second year of MTech, I was introduced to cryptography and network security. That interests me a lot, like a lot, right? So after that, I took blockchain technology because it was trending. It was cutting edge technology. It interests me a lot. So that is why I made the switch from electronics to computer science. It was my own interest. It was not something like that. Someone has told me to change your stream or something like that. Whatever the subject used to interest me a lot, that was under computer science only. So I opted for computer science.
Oh, okay, okay. So if someone wants to do masters on any subject related to computer science after doing BTech in EC, is that possible?
I think it is possible, but you have to give your interview or give your written exams and clear that on that particular subject or that particular academics line or particular disciplines where you have to or where you're trying to opt for that. Like you have to clear your written and interviews on that particular subject.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure. So
Um,
there was another question like let me go first.
It's for you, Shushmita Di.
Yeah, actually. So I was trying to see that. Can you just speak about what algorithms are used in making the cryptocurrency exchange? First of all, there is no generalized algorithm for creating cryptocurrencies. You can customize your own like algorithms, but if I'm gonna talk about that, it will take a hell lot of time, and I think everyone won't get interest on that. So I would keep it short and say there are very popular algorithms. You can like search on Google. They will pop up. There's many algorithms, and you can customize it to build your own cryptocurrency. Go on.
so we have like same questions from Rikta Pal and Sharnava Kundu. Rikta, would you like to ask the question?
Yes, actually, I'm in third year EC. So I have a question that how did you prepare for campusing and the gate at the same time? Because uh, for campusing we have to prepare for coding and aptitude also, and also we have to clear our semester, and also for prepare for gate. So it's a question from my side that how did you prepare?
The aptitude portion for GATE is the same. Whenever you are trying to prepare for aptitude, keep in mind that you have to raise the level of your aptitude by which you are solving it. If you are solving a higher level of aptitude, you will originally get the lower aptitudes also. So 15 numbers from GATE is of aptitude, if I'm not wrong. If I'm right, Magnolia. I don't know. I don't think that rules have been changed. But 15 numbers are for aptitude only. So if you are preparing for aptitude, keep in mind that you are preparing for aptitude for your gate also. The next thing is that don't try to prepare the entire syllabus for gate. That won't help you in the beginning. You would have to choose the subjects which interests you most. Choose that while preparing for gate. Solve your past past year questions. I would rather recommend that make a routine of that, because you can't go on studying for 5 hours for your gate and then study 5 hours for your core subjects. That won't help you. Study for 1 or 2 hours for gate in a day, and then go on studying for your subjects, and rest you can have fun. That is also needed. Magnolia, would you like to add something?
Actually, GATE is also subject wise. It is also parted ECE. So you have to keep your basics clear in whatever domain you are studying, whatever field you are studying. Keep your basics clear in aptitude for aptitude part. Also, keep practicing the aptitude part and keep your basics clear for in whatever domain you are working on. So if you are thinking that हाँ मैं तो बीटेक कर रहा हूँ या जो भी हो, मुझे तो सिर्फ पढ़ के जाके जॉब निकालना है, जॉब पाना है, ऐसा तो नहीं होगा. You have to keep your basics clear from the very beginning.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
There's another question is like what should be the rank in GATE to get a chance for PhD from IIT? Okay, the rank doesn't matter. They really see that you are like you qualified GATE or not, and then they have their own examinations. So it's like you have to be prepared for that and crack that. It's not necessarily
They're
the
also
GATE that will-
yeah. They also see that whether your basics are clear or not. They only test your basics, whatever you have studied.
Okay. I see Suresh.
I have another question. Oh,
I-
okay.
Just a minute. We have Suresh Kumar who has raised the hand. I would request him to like ask his question.
Thank you, Debosmita. Actually, my question is still not clear. I'm sorry, but the question was actually about that. Okay, but you cleared at one point that someone, if he wants or she wants to pursue the PhD or higher studies, so they must have their career goal paths. I mean, they must have their mindsets regarding the getting the higher education or pursuing the higher studies, like both of you, as you are doing PhD or something like that. It is true, absolutely true, and I agree with both of you. The actual question is that when someone intends, okay, if he has set his or her mind to pursue the higher studies, so it means he has decided now to go for higher education rather than to go for job. So now my question is arises here, that if he has now intended for something her or his goal, so when he or she is in that path, I mean doing his higher studies, either he or she is in PhD or MTech career path, so what do you think at that point, will she miss any kind of subject or educational activities that she or he should realize that they must be given when they were doing the BTech? I mean, did you miss any kind of did you feel that you must be provided some more details about those subjects, but you were not, unfortunately, you were not being giving so much details in the BTech education while you were in the BTech?
Okay.
This question is this question is
I
more or
got your
less
point. I got
I got you.
related to your experience. I mean, what your experience says, that being a college means, for example, I am responsible of my college education, or I'm responsible of my university education. So being a responsible person, what do you think, should I also add some more educational activities for the students, so that if someone wants to pursue the higher studies, so they should not feel like that they were not being studied these subjects in the BTech, something like that?
Mm, go on, Magnolia. You go on. I'll let you last.
Yeah, I think no, I think I have not missed any kind of like I'm lagging behind any experience in doing PhDs. I think one thing should be added, that is the practical hands-on experience should be increased in BTech. What do you say, Sushmita Di?
Um, might I would like to add somewhat. You're Suresh. You're from DSCS DC. Shute. Are you from this college?
No. I'm not from. I'm from other part. I'm not from the part of the U college.
Okay, fine. So our college has arranged some good like humanities department seminars where we have tried to talk, like we tried to communicate in between ourselves and also to others, where we have developed our communication skills. This is very much needed. Communication is very much needed in higher studies. This is needed to
Yeah.
like demonstrate your own thoughts, so you need to somewhere grab that if your college is not providing that. Second, higher studies needs the clearance of your basics or your core subjects. Okay, the core subjects cannot be the 48 subjects you are trying to study throughout the whole like BTech, the whole 4 years. The core subjects are very less. These can be counted in your hands, and the basics of those core subjects should be clear, because they want that only. They don't want you having 2 years of experience in your MTech, because they are going to give you that. They don't want like you are already having some very much some knowledge about the cutting edge technologies. They will provide you that. They just need to know that you have your basic skills on your communication and the basics of your core subjects. That is, I think, the main two parts of pursuing higher studies. And I don't think that I lack that somewhere, because my
Yeah.
college has really provided
Yeah.
me with
Yeah.
bulk of those.
Basically, our department provided everything for us.
Mhm.
They provide everything for the students.
Actually, they also
So I don't.
they also arranged a little test, like aptitude test every
Yeah.
week, so we can like help get help from that. Yeah, go on,
Perfect,
please.
perfect. Thank you so much. And I think that was I was basically seeking answer from both of you sides. Thank you so much.
Sorry, actually, we haven't understood you in the first. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So, Rikta, would you like to ask the question?
Yes, actually, I was asking that for GATE, did you prepare at home or any other institute? Like so many institutes are there, though, who teaches for GATE only. So, is there
I
anything like that, or at the home you have prepared?
I actually prepared in home. I took 1 year gap and tried to find out the directions, and I prepared at home. I took help from Manali ma'am. I said that actually you need a advisor, a faculty advisor would really give you path or direction to do that. So you need to practice a lot for that. You can try to go on searching the books by which you can get the questions from previous year, and the books on which on which the subjects you are interested in. So you can do that. Like, but I prepared in home, so I think this is possible because I've done that. So this is
Okay,
possible.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So someone has written blockchain is the next future. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, I can see another question from Sneha Banik. Sneha, would you like to ask her to everyone right now?
Yeah, actually, I was asking to Shushmita Di that how you prepare yourself for the basic of blockchain, as it is main focus for IIT, and you are from EC stream, so how you manage this part?
Actually, IIT don't want you to focus in one subject, but they actually ask for your interest, your area of interest. Okay. So I have cryptography and network technology, network security was the subject I was interested in. So I searched for that, and my faculty advisor that time gave me the direction of blockchain. So I heard the term blockchain, and I searched for it for a few days because I wanted to do something on that for my master's thesis. So I tried to look up for that. I have taken NPTEL course for that and cleared my basics on that. So this interests me a lot, and this helped me to about conferences, right? It helped me to provide abstracts to renowned conference, two abstracts for actually a renowned conference, and this work of mine helped me in my PhD actually. In the interview, I was asked that what is your subject of interest and what you have done on that. So this helped me a lot. Like you have to learn if you have interest in that subject. So it is possible for you to learn. It is possible for you to learn anything actually if you have interest on that. So you need to find out your own interest. That is the main point here. So if you have your interest in that subject and you want to do something or contribute something to that subject or that area, you can really opt for that. You can go on searching that on the internet and learn about that. So it was not at all very difficult for me to pick up anything because EC helped me a lot in building up my basics, because data structure and algorithm is like a subject in electronics itself. There is C, the practical structure of C. It is in EC itself. OOPs are taught in EC itself. These are the foundation of your basic programming languages or basic syntax. If you learn one syntax, you can go on opting for other languages as well. Uh, if you try to connect that, it is interdisciplinary. You can go on take up any subject after EC. It
Yeah.
helped me a lot. Yeah. Go on, Magnolia, if you want to add something.
Yeah, AC is an interdisciplinary subject. You can switch your career from software to hardware or hardware to software. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So many of the people think
Thank
that
you.
EC people like why to take EC and all that. तो जैसे कि मतलब CSC ना लो तो पूरा जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गया, ऐसा टाइप का कुछ बातें चलता रहता है. लेकिन EC has that capability to switch from software to hardware.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Thank you so
But
much. I
no
got
one
it.
knows about it, that it is an interdisciplinary subject.
True.
So we have a question from Sharnava Kundu. Would you like to ask the question?
Yes, I wanted to ask that during the extreme pressure situations like those projects, the campusing, and other exams we have, like actually those we have to give those aptitude tests as well, like every week. So how did you people manage to keep up with that pressure and keep yourself motivated for what you aimed for?
Magnolia, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, see, I'm not getting that point, that why people are taking so much pressure on them. Like people are reading, like they are doing their BTechs, they are clearing their basics. You have to clear your vision, that taking pressure on yourself is not the actual goal, I would say. Okay, so it's not a pressure. If you want, I told you, if you think that you have to pursue your PhD and higher studies, you go for it. It's not a pressure. Don't call it as a pressure.
I think it was a generalized question about like the curriculum of BTech and the
Yeah.
pressure of that. Yeah. Basically, whenever you are in a place, you are going to have that pressure. Like when I was in MTech, I was having pressure of MTech. When I'm in PhD, I'm having the pressure of PhD. But that is the thing. If you have to like, if you like spend your entire time on your phone and like
Yeah.
you don't have any time left for studying, that would create a pressure only.
Yeah.
But if you can manage your time, because as Anubhav said that I was very interested in music, so I used
And
to.
I was a flip flop. I was a
Huh.
flip flop for EC department.
So I used to listen to music. I used to play my guitar to reduce some of the pressure. Actually, I enjoyed a lot in my BTech. I studied. I gave the aptitude. I participated in whatever chance I got. Actually, I was more in outside my campus rather than inside my campus. So don't feel like that the pressure is the pressure is always there, but don't feel that it is going to dominate you.
Absolutely.
Think out of the box, basically. Yeah, you'll have to only manage, right? In the BTech there is a very less chance of you to like taking care of your family or something like that. It is the time of you to learn the basics. I would rather quote unquote say it is the only time for you to learn the basics. If you don't like one or two subjects in your entire semester, you have 8 subjects in each and every semester. It's not like that you have to like 8 subjects in your semester. Like one or two subjects, clear the basics from that, and keep others in mind that I have to pass in this subject or I have to score. It's not like that you have to like do excellent job in each of your subjects. This is not like that.
Keeping yourself motivated is something you can only do. No one is going to motivate you. Okay, what you want to do, what you are doing, how you want to do, you have to motivate yourself only.
More or less it's like a balance. Keep a
You
balance
have
in
to
your
be
life.
all-rounder.
Yeah.
Like you have to manage your project, final year project. You have to prepare for your campusing. You have to, if you want job, then you have to prepare for your campusing. If you want to pursue higher studies, you have to prepare for higher studies. You have to be all-rounder. You have to manage yourself.
See, I was confused also, but that doesn't mean that I felt left out from something. I participated in each and everything. I tried to do that. If I have done something, then this is something else. But if I failed, I didn't anyhow thought of that I have failed, so I can't do that anymore.
Yes. You should not keep that mindset that you cannot do anything.
Okay, so we have got a bunch of questions from the Google form for registration. So I would like to ask that questions on behalf of the students. Like first question that comes is how difficult it is to crack GATE.
It is difficult, yeah. Absolutely, it is difficult. Everyone knows that it is very difficult. It is all India basis exam, so it is difficult, yeah. But that doesn't mean that you can't crack it.
Yeah.
And I have studied in my house. I have taken a little time. I have studied and I have cracked it. So it is not impossible.
Yeah. Nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
I would say.
You have to take up your own subjects, like whichever interests you. That is the main point. Take up some subjects which you like and clear the basics of that.
And that you have to choose from your BTech degree only.
Yeah,
what you have
yeah,
studied
absolutely.
in your entire BTech life.
Absolutely.
So the next question is, what path and schedule should I follow from now as of today when I am in second year, fourth semester?
She's very small. She's very small to think that. But then also, clear your basics. I would say clear your basics. It's the only point you can do. You can do now. Clear your basics and prepare for your apti if you want job. And if you want to pursue your higher studies, prepare for that. Prepare for GATE, I would say. It's a long way to go and to think about it. Second year, fourth semester is too long, too small.
I was enjoying my college life that time. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was in second year.
Okay. So I have a question on my behalf. Like, what has been the preparation strategies for both of you? Like, there has been something like a way that you have taken up to prepare for the GATE or prepare for the higher studies. Like, it did not come in one way. So I want to ask that what has been the strategies that you have followed throughout the years?
Victoria, go on.
See, the strategies I have followed, that I have I have an interest in one subject. Okay, so I was studying that subject from my BTech last year. Okay, so after, I would like to thank Manali ma'am for teaching us so well the subject VLSI, that I got that interest on that subject. Okay, so after that I thought that no, I have to go for this fabrication line. I like this, I love this subject. So I went for that subject only. And after that, while doing my MTech, I was thinking, no, this is what I need to do. So I started studying and preparing myself for devices related subjects. You know about solid state devices. So if you want to work on devices, you have to study like whatever books are available for devices, study. And if you want to go for circuit part, go for the books for circuit parts. So this was my strategy of preparation. I know what I have to do and I know what I have to read. So this is the clear vision you have to keep.
Okay, my experience are a little different from yours. Yeah, I took 1 year gap in between to like prepare for GATE examination. It was like study every day, learn something new every day. It doesn't mean that necessarily you will have to study for 5 hours in a day. For that, study for only 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes, but gather some new knowledge from that. Like keep up a routine of like learning something new for 2 hours if you are not trying to take a 1 year gap, and if you are trying to like take a gap, then you can extend your time and schedule that. If you are trying to like learn something new each and every day, it will end up in a really good knowledge of yours to like crack the GATE or crack any of the exams that you're you'd like to take. So are you what is your interest? I would like to ask Devashmita.
I actually have interest in like coding and all those stuff. Like I love machine learning and data science more.
Okay. So
so you are not interested in devices and circuits. I'm a device
I
person.
actually love like it, but from my school days, I have been like I loved coding part a lot, and recently during this lockdown, I have learned machine learning a lot, and I have developed a very keen interest in AI. So I means I am so very focused on learning it in the future,
Okay.
Okay.
Which part of AI?
like machine learning, deep learning, and all those.
Okay. The core deep learning part, right?
Yeah, like a data
Like,
science to be very
okay,
precise.
like not necessarily convolution neural network, something like that, or the big data part of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
deep
the
learning I have actually learned separately. I am not very sure about any
okay,
like a pathway or
okay,
something
okay,
like
okay.
that, but I have learned
Okay.
about deep learning. I have learned about machine learning. So I
Okay,
have
you can. Do you know that you can use machine learning, deep learning in integrating with devices also?
yeah, like embedded systems.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Devices.
You can yeah.
Totally
Embedded.
beam-based devices. You can
Huh.
apply that. Apply machine learning in devices for
Okay, I
getting
have no
results.
idea about that.
You can go
Yeah,
through it.
actually, yeah, you can go through it. Actually, embedded systems
Go
are
through
there.
different path. Go through different subjects. You should see. Like I cannot say that like I love machine learning. I love devices. Yeah, I too have to work using machine learning, deep learning. I have to use it to get my data. Okay, so you should go through it. Go through it.
Yeah, if you're planning to take up like gate or something like that, I would rather say clear the basics in your basics core subjects. Actually,
Okay.
these are not the subjects you are going to give exam on.
Yeah, actually. So I was
Huh.
asking that what has been the like preparation strategies from the very first,
Huh.
because definitely I won't be like pursuing machine learning and like giving the exam on machine learning, but I can later actually opt for it. So
You can
that's why I was
huh. Yeah, you
let
can
me see.
opt for two subjects in GATE right now, if I'm not wrong. So you can take up electronics and you can also take up computer science if you want, if
Okay.
you're that much interested in coding. But I think
Electronics is better, I guess.
electronics is
Yeah,
like
you
that
can
would
switch
be,
your career.
yeah, that would be easier for you because you have
Yeah.
the basics of electronics.
As if you are opting for CSC, you only have to go in the path of software. You
Yeah.
do not, you are doing your career narrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So keep your career aspects broader so that you can work in different things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
have some routine and study basics for 1 and 2 hours every day.
so now we have like Rikta Pal. Would you like to ask some question? Rikta, are you there? Okay, maybe she is not able to listen. So I would like to. Acha, okay. So I would like to ask one more question that what has been the inspiration behind taking whatever fields you both have taken in your life? So there must be an inspiration that have like played a key role in like thinking that yes, I want to take this subject and I want to take this subject. Like there has been a particular point when you felt that this would be like especially for your PhDs, the subjects you have taken. So, would you like to share the inspiration that has motivated you to take up this as your career, like as your research fields?
Actually, you go on.
Okay. See, like I'm not a biology person. Okay. I've done my higher secondary in computer science. I'm a computer science student from the beginning, but I took EC. Okay, because EC is a broader subject, and from that I have chosen my subject of interest, that is VLSI, and I have opted microelectronics and VLSI in my MTech. So from that I gained something that inspired me, like I want to work on biomedical fields from my personal experience. Okay, so making devices that is useful and that will not cause any pain. Okay, so I thought that it would be a great help if a device is not causing any pain, like biopsies, I would say. You know about it. So those devices causes very much pain. Okay, so I thought of that, like I will, if I pursue my PhD, then I would design a device that will be like painless. It will not create any pain, and it will be a greater help for biomedical surgeons. Okay, so I like to work with surgeons, and I'm hoping to work with them. Okay, so for that, my inspiration was first of all my professor from BTech, like Manali ma'am. Okay, and to push to higher studies, like go and study, was Anubha ma'am. Okay, so these two people are my inspirations. Okay, so and nothing else is there to inspire me more than both of these people, those professors.
Actually, yeah, throughout the entire time, our professors, our guides helped us a lot to like choose our direction. Um, uh, Same as that, I have I have opted for computer science in my higher studies. That I really don't have biology in that too. So after that, I chose BTech in electronics and communication. I chose masters in electronics and communication, and my master's field. Actually, I was introduced to blockchain technology by one of my professors. I pursued higher studies because of Manali ma'am. She inspired me a lot. That go and study.
She's the whole sole reason to push us go and do it higher studies.
Yeah, surely I agree with that. So basically, it's like you have like you are gaining your knowledge by time. Like you, if you're trying to get a maths from class 5 in class 1, you won't get that. So whenever you are crossing the paths, you are like being introduced to that particular area. So I have been introduced to that particular area in my masters, and that interests me a lot because the applications of blockchains are vast. It is not in only bounded in cryptocurrencies. It is in healthcare. It is in like I have given you the examples. It is in government like land registries. It is in supply chain management. It is in what I would say. It is in building apps like decentralized applications. So the application portion of blockchain inspired me a lot because you can do anything with that because it is secure. No one can forge your data. No one can take up your data and say it is mine. You know about ransomware, right? Someone have taken your data and they are claiming some money to give your data back. So if you are the like owner of your own data, no one have the authority to forge it. No one has the like fear to like no one has a fear of hacking them. So this inspired me a lot. So this has been a good inspiration for me to pursue my higher studies in blockchain because I want to know this technology. Technology is a vast area, right? So I really want to know about this technology.
Okay, so I have one more question that what do you see the recent trends like in blockchain or in MEMS or microsystem VLSI? Like both of you have taken a different field, so you are very well aware of what is going on right now in the industry, what the industry demands. Then many people would be actually like motivated to take up that subject if they know about what is the actual structure right now and how is it helping people. So I would like to ask you that what has been the recent trends right now, so uh, in the fields for both of you.
Sushmita, you can start first because I have to present a
Oh,
slide.
okay. Actually, I have presented that. Basically, that it is not been restricted in cryptocurrencies. What do we always know that Bitcoin is equals to blockchain? That is not like that. Basically, blockchain is the technology behind the Bitcoin. So it
Yeah.
has been started from Bitcoin, but it is not restricted in that. What I have shown you right there that there is a video platform where you can share and see videos from that.
Yeah.
There might be I might introduce a musical platform that from where you can share and where you can keep your musics in there and no one have the ability to forge your music or remove your copyright from that. So it is like it is a enlarging field. You can introduce it to anything if you try to, if you want to.
Like we have heard, like in banking sectors also, blockchain has a major part to play. So, would you like to throw some light on that, maybe?
Basically, blockchain has been introduced to the system or to the world that it wants to suppress the centralized authority of the bank, basically. So they are trying to get a decentralized application, a decentralized, distributed direction of like your financial assets. That in transaction fee you have to like the bank. If you are transacting one money to one bank to another bank, you have to pay transaction fees if it is applied to your cash. So if you excuse me, if you try to remove that, that would be helpful for you, not in a large like small quantity of money, but in case of large quantity of money. So this is helping us to remove this kind of barriers or this kind of third party in between.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Magnolia Di?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It is not sharing. I don't know what happened. Wait. I don't know what happened. There might be some technical issues. Okay, I'm telling.
Yes.
See, the recent trends in MEMS technology is that the micro needles are there, like micron size needles, which are in use already to replace the conventional hypodermic needles, whatever needles are used right now, like for giving vaccines and blood test needles. Okay, so these are the recent trends which are used, like micro needles and organ and chip. I don't know. I should have shared. Wait a second, please.
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. See, these are the microneedles, recent trends of MEMS technology. Okay, these are micron size needles which will have the same effect, but the size is small. And
Okay.
and this is the recent trend. Another recent trend, that is organ on chip. Okay, these devices will be fabricated, and it will mimic the human organs. Just in case any transplant is not possible at that moment, then these devices will be used.
Okay.
So these are fabricated in such a way that it will mimic those organs, specific organs for specific reasons. And these microneedles can be used everywhere for whatever reason you are using. Either you use for drug delivery, either you use for taking blood samples, anything. And future trends, I can see that these things like microneedles and organ on chip, these will come in form of paper microfluidics. It will come in the form of paper flowers, like you can see paper microfluidics here. It will come in paper kind of things, paper devices. And organ sensors and actuators, like sensors will be used for anything, like sensing anything from head to toe. So these are the market trends, like I can see in future. Okay. So if someone is interested, you will gain interest while doing fabrication and knowing more about the devices you are working on. Okay.
Okay, so we have some more questions, like how to prepare well for GATE 2022. Like they have also asked that if you can prefer some books related to signal system or analog and digital circuits and all those.
Yeah, like for I can suggest some books But how to prepare, Shushmita Di has already cleared everyone. Everyone is asking for gate preparation. I don't know why. Okay.
There
So
are
maximum,
actually
but
there are
but
multiple exams
maximum,
to prepare for actually.
yeah. Not only gate, there are multiple exams. You can sit for PGATE. Okay. PGATE is another test exam, the postgraduate entrance examination. So
Yeah, can I share my screen? Yeah, Magnolia can explain after that.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, wait.
I hope everyone is bored. Is getting bored. Yeah.
Okay, you can see, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. Go on, Magnolia.
See, GATE is not the only exam you can give, you can appear for. There is PGATE, which is conducted by Macaut itself. Okay, it's a Macaut based. Then GRE, IELTS, TOEFL is for abroad studies, higher studies in abroad. CAT, GMAT, ICET, ICET is for CAT, MBA, I guess. MBA.
Yeah.
CAT is for MBA. I too had prepared for CAT, but without any guidance. Okay. So after getting proper guidance, I thought, no, I have to do MTech. Okay. So, and CSIR, UGC NET, you can appear, you can sit for PhD exams.
Yeah.
These are for PhDs.
Maybe
Even for government.
shed a light on your projects. Yeah.
It depends on your projects. Yeah.
You can basically go on and see what kind of projects are ongoing. If that interests you, you can go and apply for that, and that helps you in your master studies as you are going to work with some professor. They are going to help you in that. You can take up that entire subject, that entire project as your next step in your higher studies.
Yeah.
That helps a lot too.
See, if you are doing your MTech, okay, I would like to say something about some project related things. See, if you are doing MTech, if you are pursuing MTech, so choose a type of project so that you can collaborate with universities like IITs, okay, IITs, NITs, so that you can collaborate with them. For that, what will happen is that you will gain more hands-on experience, okay, more skills, you will develop more skills. So it will be helpful if you collaborate with your other institutes from your own institute. Okay.
Okay. There is a question after the PhD in particular fields, what else engineers must do in order to get better future opportunities other than academic fields, like after PhD?
Well, yeah, after PhD, go for R&D sectors, research and development sectors. If you really want to work. So if you are joining our research and development centers, then you will gain more hands-on experience. Okay. If you don't want to go for academic fields, you don't want to become a professor, go for R&D sectors, work there.
But if you are spending a lot of time in your academics, gaining your knowledge on that, why would someone won't?
See, if you want to become a scientist, go for R&D sectors. Okay. If you want to become a professor, go for academic fields.
I would rather say that is not a good option. After PhD, you are preparing for a job. You'll have a hell lot of options after PhD
actually.
So it's not like that you have to opt for a job after PhD. As she said, as Magnolia said, no one has been sitting idle after taking a PhD.
Yeah.
So we have almost come to the end of all the questions, but I would like to end, before ending, I would like to ask one more question. That is, do you think that more people should be actually going for research purpose and for any of the fields, like not only for your particular fields or any of the fields, should more people go for the research purpose? And which genre of people, means there are specific people and there are specific mindset of people, so which genre of people do you think will be very much suitable, means they will actually prove fruitful in the research sectors? they will have a good career in research or higher studies maybe?
See, like anyone can do research. It's not a like there is no such domain that this students cannot pursue their higher studies or research. Okay, anyone can get at any time, any point of time, anyone can get that. Okay, I have to do research. Okay, so there is no such domain that students cannot do. Engineers can pursue their career in research fields. Medicals already they do. Okay, medical people are already doing the research, and researchers are very much required these days. As you can see, the pandemic situation is so much emerging. Okay, so researchers are very much required, let's say.
Yeah, I have seen my friends from BSc after taking up their MSc, they have joined in research field. It is not restricted to some kind of quote unquote people or something like that.
Any domain, yeah.
Yeah.
Any domain
But
people can pursue their research field stuff.
I would rather say if you are pursuing a PhD, you have a mindset that you are going to take up research, and after that, if you felt that no, it's not happening for me, you can really switch. You can go and take up another career path. No one is going to force you to do that. If you are taking up research, that means you have that kind of flexibility to of your family that you can go on switching your own interests and go on researching upon you. So yeah, that is my point. There is no so quote unquote type of people or mindset of people or something like that.
Okay, so thank you so much to both of you. That has really been a very, very informative session. So before ending, I would like to ask you that anything like you would like to share with us before the session ends, like anything you would like to share with us.
I would like to thank those people who are still with us.
I can still see 31 people are still there.
They are really bearing us, but they are still there.
This session is really nice, Didi. This is very much informative and so much motivating, and this is very much helpful for us in future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for bearing us for so long time.
And I would like to add here one more thing, that this is rather than an informative session, but it is rather more you can say a appreciative session, because you guys are inspiration for all of the students who are doing the BTech. And actually this is an inspiration. I think you guys have created like inspiration that no one can barrier the educational activities after completing the BTech. I mean, someone can go for PhD after having the BTech. I mean, this is a kind of inspiration. So thank you for conducting this session, and thank you for being this session, for creating such an inspirational story, among all of us. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.
Actually, we both have had different kind of experiences. Actually,
exactly.
Yeah, I didn't know about Magnolia's research.
Yeah, I didn't know that Shrishta is doing PhD.
Yeah,
actually, I'm from Pakistan, so. This is for the first time that I'm going to be interacted with the BTech students that are going to pursue the higher studies, like you guys are doing the PhD. I mean, this is a kind of, believe me, it's a kind of inspiration for me. At least for me, it's a kind of inspiration.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Yeah.
So thank you so much to both of you. This has really been a great session. So Trikoma Vishwas has raised the hand. Would you like to say something? Oh, she left the meeting. Maybe she has been by mistake. She has been. So.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to add something. If you guys want to ask us anything or something like that beyond this session, you can go on ask us.
You can mail us. You can definitely mail us.
Definitely mail us. The email IDs will be there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dee, and both of you for sparing that much time from your busy schedule and talking to us over here. Thank you so much. We would like to again have such session sometime after, when maybe you would be completing your PhD, and you would be a more big inspiration to us, and that we will look forward to be someone like you, like to have such a career like you.
Okay, I have something to say. Like
Yeah.
those who are doing their BTech, like third year or second year BTech, please don't neglect higher studies. Try to think about it. Think like what you can do. Find your subject that interests you the most. Okay. Please don't neglect the higher studies and go for job. Okay. Yes, if you want to do your job, please carry on. If you are like in a dilemma, like what to do after BTech, please take a proper counseling from a proper guide. Like we have gained something from Manali ma'am and Anuba ma'am. They were our inspiration. Okay, so
Yeah, absolutely.
get a proper counseling from before doing any such before choosing any such domain like BTech, after BTech, MTech, MBA, or whether to pursue direct PhD. Most of the people don't know that after BTech one can pursue a direct PhD. You don't have to do MTech. Do a
Okay.
direct PhD. Okay. So BTech students have that, like they have that वो सब मतलब वो सब है उनके पास, मतलब बीटेक के बाद आप लोग कर लो डायरेक्ट पीएचडी अगर करना है तो. ओके सो
Yeah. Okay.
don't neglect it.
Yeah. So academic line is a part, and as Anubhav asked me that where is my instrument, I have still that instrument with me here also. So it's like you have to like stay like up. You can't sleep all the time. You need to like do something. Do something. Not necessarily you have to succeed in that. Do like try
Yeah.
on doing something. Try on new things. Yeah, you can do that. We all have like personalized, professionalized, and all. We still like maintain a balance and do everything. Yeah, it's not necessarily you have to do higher studies and you have to
Yeah.
like study for
We are
16
not
hours
forcing
straight.
you. We are here to motivate you. We are not forcing you.
Mhm.
We are not here to force you.
Yeah,
Go and do higher studies. You have to pursue higher studies. No, we are not here to force you. Do
if you
whatever
are
you want.
if you are
Like
motivated
don't
to
take
do
that much
obviously.
pressure.
Mhm.
Devoshmita is, I saw her CV like in EC department YouTube channel. Yeah, you got various placement opportunities from TCS, Capgemini. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, really. Okay.
Thank you so much for like giving your time to us, and hope we will meet you soon again.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. And with this, we would like to end today's session. And thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.